Okay, so this time our topic for our last topic for today is quality and control in production and operation management. So quality control, of course, is a process through which a business seeks to ensure that product quality is maintained or improved. So quality control involves testing units and determining if they are within the specifications of for final product. Quality control is essential because we need to essential to building a successful business that delivers product that meet or exceed customers expectation, and it also forms the basis of an efficient business that minimize waste and operates the highest level of productivity. So to give us more details about the topic, please watch this video presented by our by your classmate, that is quality control.
Good day, everyone. I am Jeneline Telias and tasked to report Chapter 11 entitled Quality and Control. As we can see, there are 5 topics that we need to cover. First, factors involving production. Second, types of quality control. Third, difference between quality and production control. Fourth, ISO processes and certification. And number 5, total quality management. The quest for superior quality is one of the most important strategic actions for every business organization. But in almost every business operation, it is not possible to achieve perfection. Therefore, the organization should come up with a management system that would establish a well-defined controls in order to fulfill its established objectives and provide quality products or services to its customers. To achieve this, the management should come up with a quality control to ensure that standards are being set, followed, and continuously improved. Quality control is the process that businesses use to ensure that a product or service adheres to a predefined set of quality standards or meets the requirements of customers or clients. Importance of quality control. First, encouragement of quality consciousness. Quality control encourages employees to keep quality in mind throughout the manufacturing process, which can help the company's ability to achieve the desired level of quality each time. Next, lower production costs. The process used for quality control checks the production of items that don't meet quality standards, correcting any problems and bringing down the cost of production. Number 3, better production methods. Quality control processes help streamline and improve the production processes, which means improved methods and designs and often higher productivity. Number 4, effective use of resources. Quality control ensures that a company is effectively utilizing resources by minimizing product and material waste and increasing efficiencies. Next, increase satisfactions by consumers. Quality control ensures that customers receive products free from error or defect, which increases overall customer satisfaction. Next, increased sales. Consistent quality control can help the company develop a reputation for quality, which can in turn attract new customers and increase sales. Last but not the least, higher employee morale. When employees recognize that they are producing high quality products that deliver value to consumers, it can improve overall company morale. Factors of production is an economic concept that refers to the inputs needed to produce goods and services. According to traditional economic theory, there are 4 main factors of production: land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. These factors consist of resources required to create a good or service, And factors of production. The word production refers to a process of transforming inputs into outputs, which are finished products that can be sold as a good or service. In order to do so, the input will go through a production process and various stages to reach the hands of consumers. Land is a broad term that includes all the natural resources that can be found on land, such as oil, gold, wood, water, and vegetation. Natural resources can be divided into renewable and non-renewable resources. Labor, and labor, as a factor of production, refers to the effort that individuals exert when they produce a good or service. The value of labor also depends on human capital, which is determined by the individual's skills, training, education, and productivity. Next is capital. Capital is short for capital goods. These are man made objects like machinery, equipment, and chemicals that are used in production. They are all considered to be capital goods because they are used in production process and contribute to the productivity of work. Their use in commercial production is what separates them from more widely used consumer goods. An increase in capital goods means an increase in productive capacity of the economy. Entrepreneurship or entrepreneur as a factor of production is a combination of the other three factors. Entrepreneurs use land, labor, and capital to produce a good or service for consumers. Let us take an example of production of Coca-Cola. Land. People are removing the beans from plants to use them as caffeine in the Coca-Cola. Coconuts are picked and used to create the coconut oil that goes in the beverages. Sugar cane sugar is used to create the high fructose corn syrup found in the beverage. Next is labor. Scientists experiment with new combinations of natural and man-made resources to create new beverages and improve the already existing ones. Next, people work in fields and on farms to get the necessary ingredients such as sugar, corn, coffee beans, and coconuts. People use machinery to create the bottles in which the beverages are contained. Capital. Production is a very important process in the Coca-Cola company. Um, the land is used to gather ingredients such as sugar, corn, coconuts, lemons, limes, and coffee beans to create beverages. And a while ago, I said that laborers work to gather these ingredients and put them together in machines. The machines then proceed to create the beverage by mixing the different ingredients together. Essentially, production is the making of the beverages. In capital, conveyor belts help employees both move bottles for shipment and transfer necessary ingredients for usage. Workers gain human capital because they know how to produce the beverages and work the machinery. Tractors help workers move land and natural resources for faster gathering and quicker manufacturing. Entrepreneur. Coca-Cola was invented by John Pemberton, who grew ill soon after and sold the rights to Asa Candler in 1888. Candler was the one who really made a business out of selling the drink, and the Coca-Cola Corporation thrived under the entrepreneurship of him and many others over the decades up through current CEO James Quincy. Types of quality control. Quality control is a business or process that measures output relative to a standard and takes corrective action when output does not meet standards. If the results are acceptable, no further action is required. Unacceptable results call for corrective action. The best companies emphasize designing quality into the process, thereby greatly reducing the need for inspection or control efforts. As you might expect, different business organizations are in different stages of this evolutionary process. Some rely heavily on inspection. However, inspection alone is generally not sufficient to achieve a reasonable level of quality. Many occupy a middle ground that involves some inspection and a great deal of process control. Inspection is an appraisal activity that compares goods or services to a standard. Inspection is a vital but often unappreciated aspect of quality control. Inspection can occur at 3 points: before production, during production, and after production. Types of quality control. There are three types of quality control. First, offline quality control. Offline quality control methods are quality and cost control activities conducted at the product and process design stages to improve product manufacturability and reliability, and to reduce product development and lifetime costs. Number two is statistical process control. SPCA is a systematic decision making tool that uses statistical based techniques to monitor and control a process to advance the quality or uniformity of the output of a process, usually a manufacturing process. Number three, acceptance sampling plan. A plan that determines the number of items to sample and the acceptance criteria of lot based on meeting certain stipulated conditions, such as the risk of rejecting a good a good lot or accepting a bad lot. The quality management system at Coca-Cola. Every bottle is also checked that it is at the correct fill level and has the correct label. This is done by a computer which every bottle passes through during the production. Any faulty products are taken off the main production line. Should the quality control measures find any errors, the production line is frozen up to the last good check that was made. The Coca-Cola bottling plant also checks the utilization level of each production line using a scorecard system. This shows the percentage of the line that is being utilized and allows managers to increase the production levels of a line if necessary. Coca-Cola also uses Total Quality Management or TQM, which involves the management of quality at every level of the organization involving or including suppliers, production, customers, etc. This allows Coca-Cola to retain or regain competitiveness to achieve increased customer satisfaction. Coca-Cola uses this method to continuously improve the quality of their products. Teamwork is very important, and Coca-Cola ensures that every member of staff is involved in the production process, meaning each employee understands their job or roles, thus improving morale and motivation and overall increasing productivity. Coca-Cola uses inspection throughout its production process, especially in the testing of the Coca-Cola formula to ensure that each product meets specific requirements. Production control is the task of predicting, planning, and scheduling work, considering manpower, materials, availability, and other capacity restrictions, and cost to achieve proper quality and quantity at the time it is needed, and then following up the schedule to see that the plan is carried out using whatever systems have proven satisfactory for the purpose. PPC is a very critical decision which is necessarily required to ensure an efficient and planned, um, economical production. Planned production is an important feature of any manufacturing industry. PPC is a tool to coordinate and integrate the entire manufacturing activities in a production system. This essentially comprises of planning production before actual production activities start, and then exercising control over those activities to ensure that the planned production is realized in terms of quantity, quality, delivery schedule, and cost of production. While quality control is an overall function designed to ensure that manufactured products meet meaningful specifications, it involves the recognition and removal of identifiable causes or defects and variations from the set standards of quality. It is entrusted with the task of minimizing this variability. Quality control enters all phases of the manufacturing process. It begins with designing of products so that it has high customer appeal in terms of appearance, function, life, etc. Then it goes to materials and parts purchased from the outside, production methods and techniques, inspections and testing before shipment, and finally in the hands of customers whose satisfaction with the product is the ultimate test of quality. There are differences in production. Production control aspect relates to the availability of products with respect to time, quantity, and place. The quality aspect, on the other hand, relates the degree to which products conform to previously agreed product characteristics. Production planning. During production planning, managers determine how goods will be produced, where production will take place, and how manufacturing facilities will be laid out. Production control, once in the production process is underway, managers must continually schedule and monitor the activities that make up that process. They must solicit and respond to feedback and adjust where needed. At this stage, they also oversee the purchasing of raw materials and the handling of inventories. In quality control, the operations manager is directly involved in efforts to ensure that goods are produced according to specifications and that quality standards are maintained. Since both systems or aspect systems of the organization, they contain all elements of the organization. The means of the organization, workers and machines, for instance, belong to both the production control system and the quality control system. However, in a production control system, workers and machines are the main sources of capacity. In a quality control system, emphasis is laid on the knowledge and skills of the workers and the transformation of the machine capabilities or transformation capabilities of the machine. Next, ISO certification. What does ISO means? Remember, it is not an acronym. ISO certification in Philippines is the most prominent certification in the business market. Organizations across the world will always look for the betterment and improvement of the operations and overall success rate to be increasing. There are many process improvements tools that can be used to make the process for activities effective. ISO certification in Philippines is is one of the most widely accepted and successful standard sets of requirements. First, ISO came from the Greek word isos, which means equal. The actual name of the organization creating the ISO standards is International Organization for Standardization. ISO is an independent, non-governmental international organization that develops a standard to ensure the quality, safety, and efficiency of products, services, and systems. And that is the number two. Remember, ISO is not an acronym. ISO process. ISO's development began in 1946 when 65 delegates from 25 countries met in London to discuss the need for international standards and their development. The following year, the organization had its first meeting of 67 technical committees or groups of experts, each focusing on a different subject. The organization published its first standard or recommendation in 1951. ISO 9001 is a standard for quality management system. Quality management system is a formalized system that documents, processes, procedures, and responsibilities for meeting customer requirements as well as statutory and regulatory requirements. ISO process, it means that processes are managed and controlled. It also means that we not only understand what the core processes are, but we also consider how they fit together. An ISO 9001 process approach is a management strategy which incorporates the plan, do, check, act, or PDCA cycle and risk-based thinking. There are three C's or goals of ISO process. First, continuous improvement. Since the clauses of ISO 9001 follows the PDCA cycle, the organization will naturally improve as we implement our QMS. Number two, consistency. By strictly following the QMS documents such as the procedures of your department, the quality of your output becomes consistent. Number three, customer satisfaction. Customer satisfaction should be the goal of everyone. The pros and cons of ISO certification. First, expense. Getting certified means paying for certification audits, registration, and surveillance audits. However, since audits tend to be priced according to number of employees, smaller businesses won't pay as much for them as larger ones. Also, time. Achieving ISO certification requires the same process as compliance, plus added time to prepare for and pass an audit. Number three, international recognition. Number four, marketing. Those achieving a coveted ISO certification can trumpet their status on their website and in other marketing materials, claiming the edge over uncertified competitors. Number five, maintenance. Certification requires passing an audit just once every 3 years, but less intensive yearly surveillance audits ensure that you continue to meet the relevant ISO standards and that you strive for continual improvement in your enterprise processes. ISO certification, it certifies a management system, manufacturing process service, or documentation procedure has all the requirements for standardization and quality assurance. Number two, individuals cannot become ISO certified, only businesses and organizations can. Number three, requires organizations to define and follow a quality management system that is both appropriate and effective while also requiring them to identify areas for improvement and take actions toward those improvements. An example of ISO certified is Boskowitz Group, which consists of companies in the renewable energy, finance and investment, hospitality, and property development sector. ISO 9001 definition. The certification ISO 9001 2008 includes three companies or three components: ISO 9001 and 2015. Here's what each component represents. ISO. ISO refers to the organization or to the International Organization of Standardization. This organization develops the standards and it does to certify businesses or organizations. Certification is handled third party and tested annually. Next, 9001. The number appearing after ISO classifies the standard. All standards within the ISO 9000 family refer to quality management. ISO 9001 is among ISO's best known standards, and it defines the quality or criteria for meeting a number of quality management principles. It helps businesses and organizations be more efficient and improve customer satisfaction. Next, 2015. The final number in an ISO certification refers to the version of the standard that being met and is represented by the calendar year. Those standards were launched. 2015 is the fifth edition of ISO 9001. It was launched in September 2015, and Mid Metals has updated its processes to meet the specification of this newest version. If an organization bills themselves as ISO 9001 certified, this means the organization has met the requirements designated under ISO 9001, which you can read in full here. In ISO 9001. ISO 9001 requires organizations to define and follow a quality management system or QMS. That is both appropriate and effective while also requiring them to identify areas for improvement and take action toward those improvements. As a result, it's typically understood that an organization claiming ISO 9001 certification is an organization with products and services that meet quality standards. All in all, the training timeline will depend on numerous factors, including the understanding of the requirements, preparedness of an organization, and the size and complexity of the organization. Still, most can expect to receive their ISO 9001 2015 certification in 3 to 6 months. Remember, individuals cannot become ISO certified. There are 5 steps to get ISO certification in the Philippines. First is gap analysis. Next is awareness training. Next is document support. Number 4 is um, internal audit and MRM. Internal audit is since ISO standards and their requirement are all about processes or process improvement for an organization. It is essential to discuss the internal audit advantages to an organization in the growing business productivity, prote- productively and successfully. Performing internal audits in an organization will lead to streamline the process and suggest all the possible improvements towards the organization growth. MRM, MRM number 4, is a management review meeting. It is a critical discussion that can be followed by an internal audit. The overall agenda of this meeting is to discuss any shortcomings of the organization in any way. Fifth is the final audit. And after that, you will be ISO certified. If you meet again the QMS. Benefits of ISO. First, it gives you a positive company image because you are a ISO certified. Next, higher efficiency in operation. Number three, improvement of customer satisfaction. Total quality management. Total quality management is the process of continuously improving business processes through ways such as elimination or reduction of errors, streamlining, supply chain management, ensuring that manpower is properly trained for the work being done, and improving customer experience. Total quality management aims to engage everyone involved in the business processes so that everyone is aware that their responsibilities for each step in the process affects the final product or service of the process. This also means that the aim of total quality management is to improve the quality of an organization's outputs, such as the goods or services they offer through improvement of their internal processes. In order to properly attain or put in place TQM, an entity should set standards so they would have a clear goal on how to improve their processes. These may be based on internal practices that their company has or can also be based on industry standards depending on what industry they are in. There are three key philosophies in this approach. First, continuous improvement, being able to keep up with the dynamic market and industry. As the market is also continuously evolving and the presence of competitors might be increasing, there is a need of continuous implementation for TQM so the company can compete in the dynamic market and to continuously meet their goals. Number two, involvement of everyone in the organization. All employees participate in working towards the goals put in place. The goal can only be achieved when all employees do their part in the processes put in place. Number three, the goal of customer satisfaction. This means meeting or exceeding customer expectations. This means that the management cannot only judge the quality of their products or services solely on their final output, but also the quality of the processes they go through before the final output is reached, and ultimately by the feedback of their clients or customers. TQM systems are intended to prevent poor quality from occurring. TQM approach can be described as follows. Number one, finding out what customer wants or customer feedback. Finding out what customer want through surveys, focus groups, interviews, or other forms of feedbacks. Number two, design a product or service that will gain customer satisfaction. Um, Number three, develop improved processes. Um, it can be through eliminating recurring mistakes and preventing future mistakes or problems in the process by evaluating and observing the process thoroughly to identify where mistakes might occur so it can be avoided. Number four, keeping track of results gathered from observation of the process to use those for future improvement. Number five, extend these concepts throughout the supply chain. Number six, involvement of every employee, including top management, as all employees should take part in the goals of TQM. This also means that top management should also be involved. Also, there are obstacles in implementing TQM. As company implement TQM, there may be obstacles encountered along the way. Some of these factors are the following. First, lack of a company-wide definition of quality. Standards set must be properly communicated to all employees, and goals should also be properly communicated to those who needed the quality or the definition of quality. Number two, lack of strategic plan for change. Without such a plan, the chance of success is lessened and the need to address strategic implications of change is ignored. Next is customer focus. Lack of customer focus. Without customer focus, there is a risk of customer dissatisfaction. Poor intra-organizational communication. There must be constant communication within the organization so that the goal is achieved. Next, lack of employee empowerment. Not empowering employees gives the impression of not trusting employees to fix problems, adds red tape, and delays solution. Next, view of quality as a quick fix. Quality needs to be a long-term, continuing effort. Next is emphasis on short-term financial result. Duct tape. Duct tape solution often treat symptoms. Spend a little now, a lot more later. Next, inordinate presence of internal politics and turf issues. This can sap the energy of an organization and derail the best of ideas. Next, lack of strong motivation. Managers need to make sure employees are motivated. Next, lack of time to devote to quality initiatives. Don't add more work without adding additional resources. Last but not the least, lack of leadership. Managers need to be leaders. Example of implementing TQM. Atlanticare, if you are familiar with this. Atlanticare is a New Jersey-based healthcare provider managing 5,000 employees at 25 locations. Patient satisfaction is the single most important aspect of the healthcare industry, and this is also one of the principles of TQM. Through the implementation of TQM principles, the management was able to identify gaps in staff communication, which affected patient waiting times, resulting to more complaints. To confront the problem, the company decided to change the way that information was passed on the employees. Instead of decision making being solely done from top to bottom, all of the company's employees were given freedom to provide vital feedback at each and every level. The company decided to ensure all new employees understood this quality culture from the onset. At orientation, staff now receive a crash course in the company's performance excellence framework, a management system that organizes the firm's processes into five key areas: quality, customer service, people and workplace, growth and financial growth and financial performance. After creating benchmark goals for employees to achieve at all levels, including better engagement at the point of delivery, increasing clinical communication, and identifying and prioritizing service opportunities, Atlantic Care was able to thrive. The number of repeat customers at the firm tripled and its market share hit a 6-year high profits. High. Profits unsurprisingly followed. The firm's revenue shot up from $280 million to $650 million after implementing the quality improvement strategies, and the number of patients being served dwarfed state numbers. Next, supplier selection or supplier quality. It is a process by which firms identify, evaluate, and contract with suppliers. The main objectives of supplier selection process is to reduce purchase risk, maximize overall value to the purchaser, and develop closeness and long-term relationships between buyers and suppliers. Selecting a supplier should include a criteria to identify the supplier's ability to deliver goods or services that will satisfy customer needs and not just be selected just by mere availability and low cost offered. Criteria for selecting suppliers. There are this criteria, numerous criteria for selecting suppliers. First is experience, previous experience and past performance. Number two, relative level of sophistication of the quality system. Number three, ability to meet current and potential capacity requirement on the desired delivery schedule. Number four, financial stability. Number five, technical support, availability and support in developing and optimizing processes. Next is number five, tech. Number six, total cost of dealing with the supplier. Number seven, the supplier's track record for business performance improvement. And last but not the least, total cost assessment. Methods for determining which supplier best fits selected criteria. Number one, requesting a formal quote. Next, visits to the supplier by management and or the selection team. Then, confirmation of quality system status. Number four, discussions with other customers served by the supplier. Number five, review of databases or industry sources for the product line and supplier. Last but not the least, evaluation. And that is the end of my report. Thank you and God bless.
Okay, so again, in quality control, we have process control, acceptance sampling, control charts, and productivity quality control. So, quality control, of course, as I mentioned earlier, is a procedure with well-defined steps implemented and executed by organization to make sure that their product or service is in good. And most commonly, the quality control or the QC operations must observe the essential for a business to succeed, and there are the two primary, of course, is the way on managing the quality control and the quality assurance. So I think that's it for this topic.